Hey guys, welcome back to AutoCraft. I just noticed something which is quite interesting. So we've been doing a lot of work in the base area recently, well not recently, in the past few weeks at least, and I just checked the storage system for our iron, and it turns out we have well over, that iron just went into the lava there, okay we need more iron storage here. It turns out we have over 100,000 iron currently stored, which is quite awesome. And yeah, that stuff is being destroyed, so we need to sort that. So yeah, that's something interesting. Another thing that's interesting is a new building has appeared in our base. Yeah, obviously we haven't been here for the past few episodes, we've been working in the nether. But just look at it, that's quite interesting. Why don't we go and take a closer look? Alright, so it looks like we've got a piston door right here, let's activate it. That is nice and fast, I like that. Alright, okay, so it's a kind of similar theme to the rest of the base, which is quite nice. Let's head on up. Oh! Hello villagers, hello. Right, so I believe this is for getting quartz, and I know exactly who did this, because we were speaking about it not that long ago. So, Splashes was in dire need of quartz for several projects, including the flooding system over at the shopping district, which has now ran its course. So she needed some quartz and I was more than happy to provide. So she came on over here and set up a little quartz gathering area right here, bought a little structure, and here we have it. Now we've also got an easy source of bricks, we've got some terracotta in places, some different types of quartz, polished andesite. That would have been good in the early game for us, but we don't really build with that anymore. But yeah, that is quite awesome. So today we're going to continue working on infrastructure we need to get the potion brewing system fully up and running. In particular, we're going to focus on the glistening melons, which requires melons and gold. Now we already have a plentiful supply of gold due to the several gold farms we have in the server, which is quite nice. But we need a decent supply of melons. Now there is a few other people that have melon farms on the server, but I'd like to, get my own thing up and running. Now we're going to take advantage of the mechanic of melon and pumpkins being close together. If there are any crisscross patterns, so let's see, do I have any blocks? No, I'll just use a shovel. So if I planted, say, melon and then pumpkin like that, their rates are actually a lot faster. And obviously if you have a massive field of them, then they do grow fairly quickly. Now a lot of designs rely on fly machines to remove them, but that relies on clocks and things like that. We're going to go with something that's a bit more simple, but will require a bit more resources. Mainly observers and, what do you call them? Note blocks, which is alright considering we have redstone easily enough and we have lots of wood. So we are currently over at Zame's farming area because he has one of these melon and pumpkin farms that uses fly machines to remove the melons. Now the version he's went with is less efficient than our one because they're all just in straight lines and well yeah, the growth is limited that way. But yeah, as you can see, these fly machines are fairly simple. They use hopper minecarts at the bottom to break and pick up the pumpkins. However, we're just going to use pistons to break them because that's a much simpler method and we have all the materials we need to craft them en masse. So, with that being said, let's go and make the necessary preparations, gather all the materials we're going to need for this project, and we can pick out a suitable location in our base. Alright, so I've just spent the past 40 minutes crafting because I realised we were going to need a lot of materials for this thing. So what I did was I went into a testing world and built a scaled up version of the farm because we're not going to do the traditional 9x9 platform that we would do. I have built this farm several times in the past on my channel, you can find those videos fairly easily enough. So what I wanted was, this farm was originally a 9x9 platform, so that's like several blocks thick with all the redstone and crops and things, and I wanted to scale it up. So scaling up to the point where we're going to need 800 dirt, 400 observers, 400 pistons, 400 redstone dust, 400 solid blocks, 10 slabs, 10 light sources. We're also going to need 10 sources of water, and on top of that we're going to need 200 melon seeds and 200 pumpkin seeds. Now obviously since we don't already have a farm, that's going to be quite difficult to get. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to break that with a sword, as I am going to head on over to Zame's base, back over to his industrial area because he has a farm like this already up and running and we're going to borrow some seeds. Alright, so I've took 3 and a bit stacks of melons and a stack of pumpkins from Zame's area. make sure you go and watch his stuff. He's doing a lot of farming and a lot of construction in his Dwarven themed build. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description, along with everyone else on the AutoCraft server. Make sure you go and watch all of them and subscribe to them, and subscribe to me, because you know that's a good idea and you should probably do it if you're watching this stuff. Alright, so I've been looking around the base for a good area to build this farm. Now the problem we have is it's really big, like really big. It's like 9 blocks by 45 blocks, and then double that because we're building 2 of them, and yeah, it's quite large. Now we can build them on top of each other, but we're not going to do that because it's going to look a little bit strange, because instead we've got to build something else on top of them at a later date. So I was looking around and I realised we have this hill right here. Now that's a nice big area right there, so I thought, why don't we tear that down, make it all nice and flat, and then we construct this, what do you call it, melon and pumpkin farm right there. And you know what, why don't we dig this out in the form of a third person time lapse. Alright, so this area we've just cleared out is quite large and it should fit the melon and pumpkin farm quite nicely. Now, since we have to construct this in a certain way, we can't build it from the bottom up. So what we need to do is we need to build the redstone at the top of this thing first, which is definitely going to be quite interesting, and then we build the layer in which the crops are grown. Now, in terms of getting this thing built, do I have any blocks on me? Yeah, screw it, we'll just use these planks. So, what I want to happen is the layer we're currently on now will have hopper minecarts going below the crops, which will mean the crop is on this layer. Oh wait, no, that's the dirt. This layer is where the crop is, and then there's empty space. This layer is where the pistons and observers are, and this layer here, right at the top, is where the redstone is. So yeah, it's only 5 blocks tall in total, so it's not all that big. So let's get started. Alright, so we got all the pistons in place, they're all staggered, and each of these gaps is where the observers are going to go. Now the observers need to face down the way so that they output a redstone signal up, and then obviously we'll use redstone dust and some solid blocks to power these pistons. Now, I've obviously done the floor here as well. This is where the rails are going to go. We need to get some redstone and we need to actually place the rails themselves. But we're going to do that later on. The next step is I'm actually going to climb up on top of this thing, place in all of the observers. So, obviously we prepared all the materials we needed beforehand. So we take 3 stacks of this stuff here. We also take half of that and then 3 stacks there. And we take all the redstone and we can get this thing built. And then we shouldn't need to touch any of the redstone stuff after that for this module. Alright, so the redstone at the top is finished and we can do a little demonstration here. There you go, and if we break it, it does the same. Alright, awesome. And we also have the rail line in place, which is quite nice. Now what we need to do is we need to put in the farmland, put in the crops, make sure everything is irrigated, and put in some light sources so that the crops can grow, because we won't be bone mealing this stuff because I don't really see the need in it, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, this thing is going along fairly well, so let's get this first module finished. Alright, so the first module is now completed. It's not operational yet. We need to wait for all the melons and pumpkins to, well, not the melons and pumpkins, the stems to grow, because obviously we haven't bone mealed them, so that's why the pistons are firing periodically. Now, bear in mind, this is only half of the farm. We're going to build the exact same thing again over here. But instead of doing the progress updates like we've been doing so far, we'll do it in the form of another time lapse. I know, third time lapse in this episode, fairly quick. I'm trying something a little bit different. After that, we're going to need to deal with storage because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle all the items. I don't know whether to merge the items from both farms into a single item stream and then put them into a central storage system, or have a storage system for both of them that's located close by and then I manually sort it. It might be better doing it that way, a little bit less work, and it'll be a little bit faster. It won't be, as efficient to take things out of chests and things, but we can always handle that at a later time. So yeah, I have all the materials ready to go for the final module, so let's begin. Alright, so the second module is now finished. I hope you enjoyed that longer time lapse. I'm experimenting with different things with camera angles and things and the replay footage now, so let me know if you enjoyed that. But yeah, I got this thing finished, and while this was working, the stems in this farm, most of them have grown, a few of them haven't. I might actually need to jump around in here with bone meal to get this thing fully up and running, because I've noticed that some of them haven't grown much and some of them haven't grown at all. So we may need to go and take a closer look at that. I also noticed that, well, what do you call them, the melons and pumpkins sometimes fell out down the sides when they were harvested, so we put on this glass trim, and that should hold all the drops within the farm itself. Well, within the bounds of the item collection system. Speaking of the item collection system, we're going to tackle that next. So what I had planned, or what I'd thought about, is I thought about using this area here for the chest wall, I guess, but I realised that we've got all this space back here, and I don't want to block it off with a room. So what we're going to do is we've got to put a path here, eventually, and I guess we can put the storage room somewhere in here. Now the storage room itself is probably going to be quite small when you look at it, so there won't be that much in the way of storage. Or what we can do is we can make it not that wide, but we can make it very tall, so you basically have to go down some stairs in order to get access to all of the chests, and we probably need some ladders so that you can get up and access all of the chests individually. But yeah, this should work fairly nicely. I had an idea. What we can do is, since we've curved the tracks here, we can have the tracks double back along this way, and then maybe here have like an unloading section, have the items spit out into a water stream, or we could just have them go into hoppers and then we send them into a storage system. Now the way we can do this is we can set up so that it takes things and stores it automatically, so we can have each item will have dedicated chests, or we can do it unsorted. I had thought about doing it without sorting anything, but then it's going to be very annoying to take everything out. So what we'll do is we will actually sort it, and that will save us a lot of time in the future. Now, in terms of the storage system itself, it's going to be a simple impulse SV item sorter. Nothing much to it really, we've saw that 1,000 times. I already have all the wood for the chests, thank you to the wood farm. We are going to be making a 2x2 spruce tree farm at some point in the near future, so make sure you subscribe for that, because that is quite a technical project. And yeah, let's get cracking on with this storage system. Alright, so I decided to go with two separate storage systems. It was just a lot easier to handle items that way, and I went with the water streams to handle the items as well. So we have two 7x9, oh wait no, it's 9x7 walls of double chests, so that's quite a lot of storage there. And obviously we also have these item sorters behind them. Now obviously we don't have all the materials to sort these things right now, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to run the collection system a few times and collect items in those droppers, and then I'll have to manually set up the, what do you call them, item filters. Now actually I do believe we are ready to try this, so without further ado, let's do it. So I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to get some glass, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually cover this. So just going to do something like this real quick. Cover that. There we go, and we've got to place one there and one there. And there we go. This is actually the first time I've made sure that the minecarts actually work properly. I never checked before I finished, making this thing. I should have done that. But yeah, this is now working quite nicely. Now, will the minecarts be enough to hold all of the items during each harvest? I'm not entirely sure. They should be more than enough, I think, but you know what? That might not be true. Something tells me that this might produce a lot more than I thought it would. Now, obviously, I have built this farm before, but only the 9x9 variant, and that produced more than enough materials for me. And the fact that we've done two 45x9 versions of this thing means that, yeah, we're going to produce a lot of stuff. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this is an El Mango design. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's insanely good. It's been out for a little while now. But it's working quite nicely. Okay, so where are these minecarts? Hold on. Death, can I steal a beacon? Yeah, sure. Oh, I fell. Okay, let's get out of here. Awesome. And these minecarts are... where are they? Oh, I don't know. Okay, they're on their way back. That's good. Alright, yes. So I need to go and give a beacon to Splashes, which I'll do in just a moment. I want to make sure that these things work quite nicely. If we can actually... ah, damn, no, I missed it. And I can't actually get under there on time. It's alright, because it's coming back now. Oh, that's full. Okay, yeah, we're going to need a bit more storage. But yeah, folks, that is this farm fully operational. So, mission accomplished. We done what we set out to do today. We got this melon and pumpkin farm done. Now, I do see that this storage system or this minecart station thing isn't working, so I'm probably going to redesign that off camera for obvious reasons. Yeah, I think I know exactly what the problem is. It should be an easy fix to sort that. But yeah, we have this thing up and running, and what I'm going to do is next episode we'll get the glistening melons, we'll put them into the potion brewing system, and I think next time we're going to tackle a blaze farm, because I haven't done a blaze farm in years, and we have the perfect spot out in our nether resource farming area, which should be quite nice. So if you're looking forward to that episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a like so that you're notified of all this stuff, and leaving a like also helps the video in the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the AutoCraft so far. Make sure you go and watch everyone else on the server. On the left hand screen right now, there are two videos, one that YouTube wants you to watch and one that I think you should watch. Make sure you go and watch them, and remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully you will enjoy the videos.